All right, welcome back. And I'm now being joined on the program by someone who actually observed the Anambra State governorship election, Nelson Ekujimi, who, of course, heads a civil society organization that actually monitored the election. Nelson, thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Give me your take on that election. How did it go from what you saw?
Well, thank you very much. I think first and foremost, we must commend the people of Anambra State, that on the election day, they came out peacefully and orderly. But unfortunately for us, just like it has become a recurring decimal, INEC didn't arrive on time at most polling units.
So materials did not get to most polling units early enough?
Most polling units, materials did not get there on time. They started arriving from maybe averagely.
Always been the same story
always
with
been
INEC.
The same story with INEC. And, we were very well disturbed because we saw an improvement in Edo gubernatorial as well as the Ondo gubernatorial election. Even the Osun West senatorial election, INEC came there on time. But for Anambra, no, that wasn't the case.
Let's look at the result now. You look at the outcome. This Governor Willie Obiano, of course, winning the election, 234,471 votes. And you have that of the APC there and the PDP candidate scoring that. What you think this is a reflection of what you saw on the day
Definitely,
of the election?
this was a reflection of the people's will. And also, you cannot, discountenance the fact that the local sentiments of the people with regards to the party of the incumbent governor played a crucial factor in determining where their votes went. And I can report authoritatively that most of the people that came out to vote were majorly the people of the older generation.
The elderly.
The elderly ones, because, it was like, oh, this is our thing. We have to be
So
there.
the young people didn't actually come out
The
as
young
such.
people were not so, the number of the young people out there to vote, was very minimal.
It's always the case across the country. I mean, during elections, you
It's
find
because the young people
elderly
have refused to realize that their destiny, how Nigeria will be in 10, 20, 30 years' time, lies in their hands. They are, leaving our fate to those generations who are already passing away. And it is very unfortunate.
On the day of election, sometimes it's not unusual to find young boys playing
football on the streets or on the roads. That's the reality on ground.
Give me your impression of the conduct of security agencies during the election, because we've heard stories. For instance, some of the opposition party candidates have come out, those who lost have come out to say that it's like the security agencies did not conduct themselves very well, that it's like INEC colluded with the security agencies.
No. That is very far from the truth. The reality on ground was that the security agencies were deployed on time to polling units. They were very professional and impartial, and they were very civil. When you go on the roads, you meet security agents with arms and ammunitions, and all they will do is to ask you, if you don't have genuine reasons for being on the road, you are turned back in a civilized manner. But for the polling units, you didn't see any security agent with even a baton. They were there in their normal uniform, an average of 2 to 3 policemen or a prison officer or a federal road safety or a civil defense. Just about 2 or 3 to every polling unit. And they conducted themselves, in a civilized and professional, and they were impartial. So for anybody to lampoon the security agents, that person is only, looking for a way or looking for some way to hang, the reasons for his failure.
Let's talk about the turnout at the elections now. Something very interesting, because a lot of people have said, look, on the day of the election, for instance, on Facebook, you have groups of people who were coming out asking people, obviously supporters of the indigenous people of Biafra now, asking people not to go out and vote. As a matter of fact, some of them were actually posting pictures of some polling units where they say the people didn't come out at all to vote, that people heeded the call of IPOB and all of that. But at the end of the day, you look at the total figure, 22.16%. Well, it seems small, but when you look at the previous elections from 2010 through 2013, I mean, you get the impression turnout was not too bad.
No, the turnout was fair, because if you look at how the people came out for that election, definitely the issue of this organization you have mentioned, their threats or their call on people to boycott the election never went in sync with the people's thoughts, because we were in that state about 48 hours before the election. And we had a feelers. We mixed with the people, and it was like people wanted to go and exercise their mandate on that election day. Maybe 1 or 2 reasons why people wouldn't have done that is also because of the lack of voters' education. Because you have situations in which somebody has a voter's card, on getting to polling unit 003, he realizes that his polling unit is 008. And even within us there...
And quite a number of people were affected by
yes, that. And even within us there, nobody could say precisely where polling unit 008 is located. So a lot of people missed. That could also be responsible for why the figure was not more than this. A lot of people missed their polling units location. And we also have people whose PVC, some were defaced, that you couldn't trace where their PVC. And also, like I was saying earlier, some of the youths, they adopted this attitude of, if I am not induced, I'm not going to vote. And, it came out to play. But by and large, I think the turnout, was fairly good enough. Because coupled with all the...
So for you, IPOB didn't have any...
No. IPOB didn't even exist in their sensibilities with the way they came out and conducted themselves. Because overall, generally, the election went peacefully and orderly in all over the states. Only few cases of,
Does it surprise you at all that the governor, his party actually won across the 21 local government areas?
No, I wasn't surprised because the sentiments, the local sentiments about this is our party, this is where we want to vote, most especially the older folks, the old men and women, definitely for them to switch that loyalty, it's an equivalent tax. And, the result is a reflection of how the people actually voted.
One local government that everybody had been, had kept an eye on, Aniocha local government area where the former governor Peter Obi actually comes from. But you look at the outcome of the election there, he was roundly beaten by the ABGA candidate, I'm talking about by Governor Willie Obiano, you seemingly giving the impression that, look, Peter Obi may not be so popular in his own local government area. I mean, look at the...
It's a reflection of the reality that, look, the party on ground in that local government, and likewise in every other local government, is ABGA. That, a lot of these politicians exist only in the media. All the media hype they put up. But when it comes to the actual voting, they don't command the loyalty of the people. They don't command, the voting sensibilities of the people. And it has come out to show, because if you look at this figure now, you realize that the figure of this total score of PDP in Peter Obi's local government was just about half of what the ABGA guys scored. So that shows clearly that even in his local government, the people believe more in the ruling party.
And very quickly, overall, how would you rate that election?
No, the election was successful. The election is one in which there are some lessons that we will take home. And those lessons are that, one, INEC has to, rejig its system to ensure that this recurring decimal of logistics is addressed. Then also there's the issue of the failure of the card reader in some polling units, and got so good, some of those problems were quickly addressed, but in some areas it lingered, and that provided an opportunity for people who were interested in, manipulating the process, because at the declaration of the State Collation Center, you saw the local government returning officer making assertions that, look, they were overvoting. And one of the reasons that could, generate overvoting in polling units is when the e-card reader malfunctions and the electoral officer there has been, has compromised with some other stakeholders. So, by and large, the election went on smoothly. The result was a reflection of the will of the people. But, there are some lessons we can learn from the Anambra Guba election.
Nelson, thank you very much for coming on the program, and thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on that election with us. We'll take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll be talking about something else. We'll be moving away from elections, but this time, we'll be looking at the seeming face-off now between the EFCC and the Department of State Services. On DEJI360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent. Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country?
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that band.
DEJI360, providing clarity to issues.